Welcome to Picks with the Professor, the show where a real statistics professor gives you sports betting tips. I'm your host, Professor Sides. For the latest updates and information, you can follow me on Twitter or find me on Twitter at Professor Sides. This Major League Baseball episode covers Game 1 of the NLCS, Phillies at the Padres, Tuesday, October 18th, 2022. In case you're new here, check the webpage on the banner there. It's www.pickswiththeprofessor.com/new for a brief primer and explanation. Go check that if you haven't yet. You can pause and come back. Otherwise, the goals for this episode are to share key information about this game, give you some things to think on, and explain why certain plays are or are not being made. I never recommend blindly tailing or fading any pick, but rather to hear the justifications and thought processes to make sure you're fully on board with me or against me for investing your hard-earned money. As always, remember that there are no locks in gambling, so what I provide are loves, likes, and leans in its A, B, and C grades, indicate my confidence level with respect to scaling wagers. However, please understand that good and bad variance will occur, so as much as I'd like to say we'll be profitable each and every day, that is an impossible reality for any gambler. It's Monday night. Been recording these the night before. I'm taking the opportunity to do so right now during the rain delay of the Guardians-Yankees Game 5. So we may have two games on Tuesday. I'm not even sure at this point what's going to happen. If so, check out that video because not much is going to change other than a potential weather update. But otherwise, that pick will still stand. So I'm going to talk about the NLCS here real quick. But before we get to that, some reminders. Please hit that like button if you're on YouTube. Also, if you aren't yet, please consider subscribing or following. It's free. And if you turn on notifications, you'll miss any of the college basketball, MLB, or college football content that this channel provides. We've also got that Patreon page for you if you're looking for a little bit of extra than just all of the free picks I give out on this show. Membership starts at just $3 per month. Gets you the play of the day or plays of the day, depending on afternoon day games, night games, etc. And any plays that I can't make on show because the lines have moved. There's one like that today that I'm going to talk about where my buy point is, and I'll post it on Patreon just so you get an alert. That way you know if a number's moved into a good spot. So all that just for $3 a month. And then if you want even more than that, there's other tiers. You can get some other good stuff. But otherwise, we'll get right to it. All lines courtesy of Bet Online. Sign up, link in the show description. And current as of the time of this recording here, Monday night. As a reminder, the prices you will see on screen in parentheses are the money line prices needed for those sides to reach a certain level play according to Sideline. 8:03 Eastern start time. That'll, of course, be 5 o'clock local time for San Diego. So the sun will still be up starting this one. Phillies to Padres, two teams that a lot of people probably didn't predict to be here. And I just want to take this opportunity. I'm not going to ramble on this too long, although as a real professor, y'all know I have that ability. It's me been moving for a while, you know that. It's just a reminder of the variability in baseball, how it's different than basketball. It's closer to hockey. You know, hockey's a hot goalie. A weird bounce of the puck can change things, and the best team doesn't often win. And baseball's the same way. And that's why we're always talking about price sensitivity. I can tell you who the better team is, but the better team doesn't win that often. We're talking 55, 60% of the time, maybe against a really bad team, 65, 70, but all the bad teams are gone. We're talking about 55% outcomes. 45% things happen all the time, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. Some years we'll have the two best teams. I think back as an Astros fan, the 2017 World Series, Astros and Dodgers were two really good teams. But you think about the Braves last year, were an 80-some-odd win team in the regular season, right? And got hot and played well. It's just a reminder, the team that wins is the one that got hot, but whoever's hot at the moment, you just never know how that's going to fade, how that's going to play out. And that's why we're price sensitive here, because if we just say who's the better team, we're going to end up laying a lot of minus odds. And those don't always work out. If you're laying minus odds here on these National League games, you were hosed. I mean, there was a reason why most nights we were on the Padres and the Phillies, and that worked out really well for us last round. Of course, they're not playing each other, so we can't do that. We'll have to pick sides here. But in game one, I like the Padres, as you can see by my jersey choice. Minus 121 is the number right now. Sideline says this should be Padres minus 136. That's about a 58% chance of winning this game. I do think that Zach Wheeler is a better pitcher than Yu Darvish. Sideline gives him a 70 grade, whereas Wheeler gets an 80 grade. Remember, 100 is average and lower is better. 70's pretty much at the top. I mean, you got DeGrom's in like the 50s, right? And then you got a handful of pitchers that are hanging around those upper 60s, but 70s right up there. I mean, Wheeler's one of the best pitchers in the game, and he's better than Darvish, straight up. I mean, no question about that. Wheeler's got him beat a little bit by ERA in the season. Advanced metrics, same thing a little bit. But I mean, when you look at the underlying metrics here, Wheeler's got him beat by, just based off of this season, less than half a run per nine. Better, but not by a lot. Bullpen-wise, Silent likes the Padres bullpen better. I've questioned them all season long You saw what they did against the Dodgers. Like, it's clearly there. When you look at a couple of the guys, Suarez, when he's been healthy this season, which he's only been healthy for half the year, has been fantastic. They got a couple guys, too, who don't have good ERAs, have got runs, but the underlying metrics show a lot of promise. I think that's why Sideline's still kind of high on their bullpen, or moderate on the bullpen. It's no Mariners bullpen. So it's no Guardians bullpen. It's no Braves bullpen, right? But Sideline says the Phillies bullpen's pretty average. Padres bullpen a little bit better than average. That kind of helps. May not matter a ton here with Wheeler. Wheeler's a guy that's going to get you some length. But we do know in the playoffs, the guys have shorter leashes. They tend to have, get a little adrenaline, throw more. It's harder to go 7-8 innings in the playoffs in a regular season game. Padres offense is better than the Phillies offense. I've said all year the Phillies offense is solid. With Harper out, of course, they were a little bit below average. But then back in, I think the Padres offense is better than the Phillies offense by about the same as Wheeler is better than Darvish. I think that's a real simple way to look at it. And like I said, you don't have to agree with me. I'm telling you exactly why Sideline is saying what it is. It's because it thinks that the Padres offense is greater than the Phillies offense by about the same as Wheeler is over Darvish. It basically cancels out. So when you take that away, you get the Padres playing at home. Pretty decent home field advantage, a little bit more than usual here. First game traveling across the country for the Phillies here versus the Padres already being in this time zone helps out a little bit. And on top of that, again, the Padres relievers just a little bit better. So that's why we're kind of saying the Padres are a little bit more likely to win this game than not. I think -121 is a pretty solid price to be invested. As you can see on screen, -123 or better is an A-grade play. So I officially love this Padres play at the price of -121. With regards to total, Sideline says 6.9. The current total right now is 6.5, and it's juiced pretty heavily to the over. I'd written up for our Patreon subscribers earlier in the day. I'd written up, I didn't think I would take over 6.5. The more I've thought about it, the more I look at it, I could be talked into over 6.5 if the odds are right. Right now, -125, that's just not it. If it comes down and you're looking at even money, I take even money over 6.5. If it's -105, I take -105. -110 is the question mark point. -115, -110 is the question mark point. I'm not taking -120. I'm not taking -125. The odds just don't make it a profitable play in my book. So that -110, -115, that's where maybe not. I'm going to run a weather update in the morning, and I'll update if there's anything useful on that as well. Right now, weather-wise, it should be a nice day. We're talking low 80s to start, and again, the sun being out, so the ball is going to carry a little bit better there because it's not a 7 o'clock local time start. It's 5 o'clock local time, so the ball carry a little bit better than usual. Low 80s, again, we're going to finish in the mid-70s. It should be relatively warm. The issue is that the winds be blowing in 5 to 10 miles an hour straight from center field. So the weather update in the morning will be kind of key on this one, and how the odds shift. If the wind dies down a little bit, projected, or maybe shifts towards the side a little bit, temperature changes a little bit, that could really sway my opinion on this total. But right now, I think at 7, it would be a pass. Either way, I think 7's a pretty likely landing spot. I just don't think it's really the greatest investment. And 6.5, like I said, with the right odds, I would go over. But to be under, I really think I want 7.5. I want that win at 7 for this one's how I'm playing it. You can look team total if you want to get invested in the total market. But right now, I think the total market's pretty solid. But again, we'll see what happens in the morning. Maybe by the time you're watching this, maybe we've already got an official play on it, just depending on how the number moves and how the weather updates go. But for right now, no official total play for me. But if you sign up with us on Patreon, again, $3 a month, I'll give you all the updates, everything there, funneling through that. But total aside, love the Padres. Lock this in here in these low -120 prices for game 1. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Picks with the Professor. Don't forget to subscribe so you can ensure all the sports betting content we provide on this channel is dropped right into your feed. We'll see you again tomorrow with more sports betting content, more baseball picks, more college football betting picks as well. And until I see you again, as always, best of luck. And remember, you can eat your betting money, but please don't bet your eating money.